Millions are dead!
Just in case you're unfamiliar with how it goes, really just honestly talk about whatever the fuck is on your mind, because there's really no script to this, like, at all.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a shit show.
Oh, trust me, it always is.
I've been thinking about what to talk about, and then it's like, oh, let's talk about Scarlet Spear, and then it just goes down this giant hill of bad releases and what's wrong. I don't know.
That is practically word for word every single other session I've had ever since the first one with Xanagoth, like a month or so ago. Just D bad, basically.
It's hard. Like, you can praise them for like what you can, but like launch states, and I think like the first week, maybe second week, it's like awful, and then third week it gets good. But that shouldn't be the case. Like, it shouldn't be that long before we get to a enjoyable state to play it, and by then the will to play it is gone. I feel.
Notice how many, or rather how few people aren't even making content anymore. Like, all the normally popular partners, so to speak, or at least the people who used to get like views all the time, like let's say fucking DK Diamantes or Brozyme, now they're like not gone, more like they don't even touch Warframe with a 10-foot pole.
They're like variety streamers, I think now. I think Brozyme, he's like turned into a streamer rather a YouTuber, which is I think is fine, because fuck YouTube. Warframe content on YouTube is weird. Like, if you're up there, you could do build videos, but I feel like that's just gonna hit you with a sanity smack, and you'll like, I don't know how you can do build videos for 7 years and not break.
Or just
hell, like, even making like patch notes and stuff, I've had breaks from time to time, and it's so hard to get back to it.
Yeah, if you ask me, that's sort of a that's something you have to do when you're kind of like just dying for content. Like, I imagine you remember like way back in like the quote unquote golden days when Mugamu was like the #1 partner, and he was like the go-to person, or to put it like simply, he was basically like the poster child for Warframe content creation, etc. And now he's like just, or at least for like the past year or so, he's just like dropped off the face of the earth. And by that I mean he doesn't care about Warframe anymore.
He cares so much that he'll make another video saying something about it, like quitting every 6 months. I'm sorry, but that's like truth.
I know it is. The whole I quit Warframe meme that he started and then Iflin got it. Yeah, it's not a meme if it's not based on some form of truth. So you're not wrong there.
I like it because like your Iflin episode, you like said it. He's quit, you've quit. I remember your I think the title of it was just I quit.
No, it was like, it was Warframe is not the same anymore, I quit. That's how it was titled.
That's it. Yeah, that was like 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, and people are like, people who are like new to my channel, they're like, why are you still playing Warframe? Didn't you say you quit years ago? I'm like, yes, I did say I quit years ago, but here's the thing. The reason I leave that video up, and I say it every single time, the reason why I leave it up is because it proves one, the meme of I quit Warframe, it is real, and I have done it. I'm not gonna deny that. And two, the video itself, for its time, it shit on DE more than normal, because it basically boiled down to I quit Warframe because here's all this shit that DE is doing wrong and I don't like, and they're not really doing anything to change that. So what I meant was I left that video up because it sort of proves the point that you can say shit about DE that people normally don't want to hear, but they won't fucking hate you as long as you actually have shit to back up your points.
Yeah, exactly. Like, shit, I was going through my Reddit history of comments because I stopped posting on Reddit, like, critically, I guess you would call it, like, when my channel started. So I think 2 years ago. And I was reading my post from, I think, Plains Vital on launch, and I went ham on, like, shit talking DE in the game. Like, within reason. Like, it wasn't like, oh, just the game's shit, like, buggy, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, standard YouTube comments, I feel. But I made a list, I think it was 2018, of just that year. And it was what we got. We got the Sacrifice, which was a single update. And we got Umbra, not Scarejardi. Maybe it was that. I don't know. And we got Pyrus Project, which rebuilded the relays. I've ranted about this operation like a number of times, but that was such a shit operation for like rebuilding a relay. All we did was play our single missions, get some resource that was added to the game, yada yada. Then 2019 came, which I feel was. Do you think 2019 was the worst year for Warframe?
Absolutely, yes, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, sorry to like go on a different tangent here, but I recently watched DK Dallas' video on what the fuck happened to Warframe, and no, there was one point he had in it that I brought up in this big ass video that I'm working on right now that I didn't realize it until I really thought about it, of how, yeah, it is obvious that the game is like on a downward spiral, so to speak, but the thing is, there was like that patch back in February, the Warframe Revised, where everyone was like, fucking finally, they gave us shield gating and all this shit, but no one really remembers it because like all the other bad shit going on, i.e., Scarlet Spear and railjack still being broken, and the community, and Rebecca flat out saying on the dev stream, or their stay at home stream, like, we know everyone's angry at us right now. We're gonna address it in the next stream on the 17th. Just be aware. We know the tension that is in the community right now.
Yeah. I feel bad for DE, but it's kind of on them, or it is on them. Like 2018. Oh, sorry. Second Dream was, I think, 2015. Then you had New War. Sorry, god damn it.
War Within.
What's War Within? That's it. Which was an absolute shit show on all grounds. Like three updates to get that whole update done. One of which was the glorious edition of Lenaro. Then
which everyone forgot about.
Yeah, that was. I think that died faster than what's the Frame Fighter.
Yeah.
I think that died faster than that. But
yeah.
like you had Lunaro, then you had Spectres of the Rail, which there was one comment by Steve, I think, on Reddit when that launched saying that we know it was a bad launch and we'll try better next time, or something along the lines of that. And it's like, a couple of years later, still seems to be the case. But then you had the actual War Within, which I felt was lackluster. Like, it definitely wasn't worth the time it took to get that out.
Yeah, they had to redo the script for that, like, what, 2 or 3 times, because the original War Within got leaked or something, and that had to do with the whole data mining scandal that happened, I think.
I see, like, there was that as, like, there's so many. I think Xanagoth said on one of your recent tweets, or Sabuchi's recent tweet, the straw that broke the camel's back, like, no one's teaching that anymore. And Warframe is just a constant case of, like, pieces of straw being placed on that back. And every update, someone's gonna just break. Like, the data mining stuff, that was a big issue, and then in usual fashion, everyone forgot about it. Rest in peace.
There is a lot of
was it
stuff that
Void?
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff, or at least one thing I really don't like, is that there is a ridiculous amount of stuff that D does wrong that people forget about within like 2 weeks. Like, remember when the HEMA came out and everyone was mad because how much of a
Oh, God.
nightmare it was to grind? Yeah,
Yeah.
the dumb thing is, after everyone complained to DE, like, oh, the HEMA's too expensive, we're not gonna do this, this is ridiculous. D basically said, or I want to say it was Steve who said on one of the streams, we're not gonna lower the crafting requirements because people have crafted it already, and if we lower it now, it's gonna piss them off, make them think they wasted their grind. Which back then, that was kind of a valid argument, but today, or at least not even a few months ago, where they refunded the railjack crafting shit to everyone, that's not a valid argument anymore. So now they do have the capability to refund everyone who did the HEMA and just make it like cheap as fuck to craft. They just don't choose to do it.
The HEMA's a wonderful case of DE forgetting just what they say, or they say it and then in the future they forget what they say. Like, I made a history video on the HEMA. Like, I went through and through, found every comment they made, put it together, and just in a timeline fashion. It's like HEMA comes out. It was a weekend or it was a holiday or something. So all the feedback that they said, they all got on like Tuesday or something. C.E. Taylor replied to it saying, we're not looking to change it. Then the prime time or dev stream came. Steve said whatever he said. Basically, yeah, they did the farm, not changing it. Sorry. But we'll look at mutagen sample drops. Then I think 2 weeks later, they made another post. Eventually, it just led to, yeah, it's raining in the derelict.
Fuck no, it wasn't.
That comment.
It was not, and it never has.
Never. Like,
yeah.
Oh, in regards to mutagen sample drops in general, like, yeah, it's raining, but no, not at all.
Yeah, I am aware of that that Warframe history video you made on the HEMA. I actually watched it yesterday, and I think I included a clip of it in the big ass fucking video that I'm still working on. I really don't remember, because I'm not exaggerating when I say I've been working on this for like the past almost a week or so, and not even the editing, just the fucking script, which I just finished like 2 hours ago, and now I'm putting together all the fucking edits and shit, and it's it's a fucking it's an organized mess almost. Like, back when I was working on the corruption of digital extremes video that I put out, I thought that was gonna be the peak of how much time am I gonna put into one fucking video. I honestly thought that was gonna be the peak. No, this takes the fucking cake. Like, at least the dumb thing is, last time I had a bunch of people helping me, because all those screenshots and all that shit I put in the video, I didn't get that all on my own, and there's no way I could have, because I don't have eyes and ears everywhere, surprisingly. But a lot of people helped me out, and I'm still thankful for that. But this time around, it's literally just me digging around everywhere I can and asking people like, hey, what do you know about this, etc., etc., etc. And it's taking me so fucking long just to compile information that it makes me think, how much shit have everyone just forgotten about? How much shit is wrong with the game? It's utterly ridiculous. And I tweeted out not too long ago, yeah, I literally just finished the script. It's fucking insane. And someone did the math, because my final script is like 5,900 words long, not even exaggerating. And they said, if you do 100 words per minute, that's just under an hour.
It's I know how you feel doing like the big videos like that, where it requires the research by yourself. Like, I don't what's the word? I don't know what it is, but I feel for you, because I did a video on Nightwave season 1 when it launched, and it was it's 2 parts. One is an hour, one is 2 hours. I don't expect anyone to sit through it all. It's just like for documentation purposes, like here's all the information, here's how the community reacted to just Nightwave, which is whatever it is now. But that took so many hours of research. Even just going through Reddit trying to find comments by like any of the DE team, it's just a lot of work. So I feel for you, especially when it's on a single topic. It gets so much worse.
Yeah, but
I think.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's
sorry
fine.
for interrupting.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just still like laughing like out of exhaustion and amazement, and also a little bit of depression at all the fucking shit I've had to do in like the past few weeks for one fucking video. Because unlike last time, where it was just focusing on like one thing and branching off to other like little topics, it's like 20 fucking different topics in one, and I'm like, this is either gonna be like the most disorganized thing I've made, or I don't fucking know. Because the way I normally make a video is I have like an idea, I type up the script, get some gameplay, some fucking edits and shit, and that'll be it. Normally it takes me like less than a day or two just to finish a video. Rarely does it ever take longer than a week, because the only times where I've taken that long was, again, the Corruption of Digital Streams that I put out, and the 1,000 Forma Vauban video, which had a lot of like meme. No, when I say that 1,000 Forma Vauban took me over a week, I don't mean because of the grinding. That's a given, obviously, because it takes longer than a week to get to 1,000 Forma. What I mean is that all like the fucking meme edits and like the music I made as a joke, that took me a long while, and the whole time I was like, am I really doing this for a fucking meme? I guess I am. And yeah.
It paid off, I'd say. Definitely paid off.
It's fucking asinine sometimes. But whatever, I do it for the lulz.
Then you realize, oh, people enjoy this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm still working on it, honestly.
Fuck Forma. I'm sorry, you're the Forma god. Same with Forma addict, but geez, like remember you doing your Forma stuff, like giving it to other partners and whatnot. I'm just thinking and remembering a Forma addict when he posted like 100 Forma on X Gun, X Warframe, and then DE sent him the
Forma sigil?
I guess card that was shaped as a Forma and an icon.
Yeah. Honestly,
I couldn't go through that.
Yeah, I started doing the Forma shit not for that. I don't really care about cosmetics. I did it mostly because Sabuchi started off the whole applying a needless amount of Forma on a thing. Then I'm like, oh, I can do 100 too. And then he's like, I'm gonna one up you, and he did 250. And then I said, I can do that too, and I also did 250. And he's like, all right, it's obvious he's not gonna stop. I'm gonna stop at 250. And then I did 500, and everyone's like, there's no way you're gonna do 1,000. No one does 1,000. I'm like, bet. So I did 1,000, and yeah. It's a dead meme, but it's an entertainment.
Yes, very much. I have a question regarding that. Do you Forma anything else? Like, or do you just have complete hatred for leveling or despise for leveling in Warframe for other stuff that isn't your Vauban?
If I hated leveling stuff, I don't think I ever would have done 1,000 Forma to begin with.
Okay.
But leveling stuff, it's surprisingly easy. Like melee weapons, honestly, just fucking equip an Equinox and just do a solo run of Adaro. You can max melee weapon in like one run.
Yeah.
Everything else, I normally just speedrun spy missions, which it isn't the most effective way to do it, but I play alone, so it's how I prefer to do it, and I can max a weapon in like maybe 15, 16 minutes.
Yeah, I used to do Oceania, I don't know how to say it, on Pluto. That was my soul. Yeah, that was my solo method for like a year, and then I'm like, nah, screw this. I'll go to Hydron. I'll follow the pack. I'll do it.
Technically,
And now I haven't leveled anything.
Oceanum isn't even the highest level spy mission. I want to say the highest one is Kappa on Sedna.
Yeah, I like the spy. Sorry, I like the Corpus spies more. They're more engaging, I guess, or easier to follow.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, God.
You seem
What the
tired.
shit talk.
Is it because it's
I have
early
the
over there?
worst sleeping pattern.
Oh.
It's 12. It's midday. I have the worst sleeping pattern ever. So, and today is the one day that I've got it good just to do this.
You have a sleeping pattern? I just kind of work until I fucking pass out.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it. But it's usually like the opposite of what it's meant to be. Like,
Yeah.
usually 9 to 5 is the usual working hours. But for me, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
1 a.m. to
For
X.
fucking COVID's completely fucked up my work schedule. Like for me, normally it was like 7 to like 2 or 3 p.m. Now at most I work like 2 days a week. No, like seriously, I'm on a 5-day weekend right now. Shit's amazing.
Yeah. Lots of people are gonna have to adapt to working from home, and it's not gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Many
especially
distractions.
it's especially not good in D's case because they already didn't have a good thing going on with Old Blood being broken and then Railjack being broken,
Mhm.
Rising Tide not really being broken, just more of a fucking chore, and Scarlet Spear being a chore and also kind of broken. And then this COVID thing starts up, and now they have to work from home, and they have less resources to work with, and now it's like they have to fight a fire, but the only tools they have are like Fisher Price buckets of water.
Yep. That actually perfectly goes back to what I was saying. Like, sure, Scarlet Spear, Old Blood, Railjack. What was the other one? I think that was it. Whatever.
Rising Tide.
Oh yeah, Rising Tide. I think they fixed that. Like the changes to building a Railjack, I guess, are fine. So that waters out, or that fires out. But those are just the last three. Like, if we look at releases, right, I've gotten down just for last year that could break someone's back with too many pieces of hay or whatever it is, straw. Someone could not like the melee phase 2 because of all the forma that they had to use again. The Itzel nerf, which is fuck that. I'm not touching open worlds again after that.
I have no idea what they were thinking about the whole nerf Itzel thing.
It's because Itzel's used too much, and I wonder fucking why.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on your boring ass landscape for more than I have to.
Yeah, it's interesting because it kind of opens up some arguments about the whole universal vacuum debacle, where the entire basis of universal vacuum was everybody wants vacuum to be universal because way back in the day, carrier was meta because it was the only sentinel that had vacuum, and vacuum made picking up loot like 1,000 times easier. And then they asked for universal vacuum, D says no. Then carrier prime came out. Carrier Prime did the exact same thing Carrier does, but it had better stats, so it's basically an upgrade because that's how primes work. And then everyone said, hey, Carrier is still meta, Carrier Prime is just that but better. Can we have Universal Vacuum now? D says no. Then that just died down for like randomly, and then out of nowhere or actually before that, they gave us technically Universal Vacuum on Sentinels and the Vacuum within, but that was still Sentinel only, and it was like a 6-meter radius of vacuum. So it was technically a buff and a nerf, which is kind of dumb, but whatever. That died down.
Add that to the shit fire of War Within, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah. Then after that, out of nowhere, they said, fuck it, everything gets vacuum now. So I don't remember if it was during Fortuna or before that, but I know that they gave out the fetch mod for companions in Fortuna, but I don't know when they buffed the vacuum range on Sentinels. But I remember they did that, and then after that they just never brought up universal vacuum again. And the reason why I say it's so similar to the whole nerf Itzel thing is because everybody was using carrier for the vacuum, just like how everyone was using Itzel for blank. Yet for carrier, they fixed it by just, instead of giving universal vacuum, they just made a mod and threw it out to everyone. But for Itzel, they actually made blank be a universal move instead of make it a mod somehow, which is retarded because if they had no problem making blink a universal arcing maneuver, why can't they just make vacuum be a on by default instead of being a mod?
I imagine it's the same reason why item labels were off by default for so long.
Brilliant point.
So it's awful. See, I've been wanting to make a universal vacuum history video and like the community split for that. But it's died down so much. Like I remember I think it was 2015 and before, everyone was like, universal vacuum, let's go. Well, then came, it got nerfed, or we got it in the form of nerfed mods for all Sentinels, as you said. Shit broke out from that, and then nothing for a while. Still people fighting it, but yeah, like fetch mod, everyone kind of went silent, I think, until railjack. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I do not enjoy flying to each avionic or resource in railjack, and I don't enjoy railjack at all. So it doesn't matter what my thoughts are.
Yeah, I don't.
about that.
I have no idea how DE fucked up vacuum on railjack. All they had to do was just make like a map size vacuum. It's not that hard.
Yeah, do what Destiny does or any other game. Any lost loot in a large environment gets given back to us when we go to a certain vendor. Yeah, because I'm not going to farm for something that I lost because I had to fly to it, or sorry, my vacuum or whatever didn't pick it up. I don't know.
Or they could just do it kind of like how Borderlands does, where if you run across like one piece of loot, yeah, you have to press a button to pick it up. That's okay, whatever. But if you run across like a shitload of loot, like money or some shit, then it just automatically scoops it up for you because having to individually pick up every single like dollar bill would be tedious as fuck.
I think a good idea for railjack would be like that option at the end of your mission. Like because you have the option to like fly around after you've killed your 80,000th cruise ship. Just have like a section of the railjack, maybe at the back of it, where you just press it and all loot gets taken to the forge and done. Rather than, because then like make that an option, because then you have the people that, as Steve said, people do enjoy flying to each loot and picking it up.
People enjoy that?
That's what Steve said, at least. I don't know.
I don't know what the appeal of that is, honestly.
I'm trying to think of one. Can't think of one.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, does Steve actually play his own game? And if so, how much?
Bring back the days of Steve Sunday streams, please.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think that would help very much. I really don't.
Oh, probably not. I think it would cause more outrage or controversy because he'd like. I feel like he would play, see something that players don't like, and say why that was the reason they did it.
Yeah.
And then everyone would get pissed at that reason, which in some cases may be fine, some not so.
Yeah.
Like shit, fucking liches. Oh, it's fun and engaging to get your back broken, and you know when you fucked up a thing that you're meant to be doing.
Yeah, I don't remember which dev stream it was where they announced that they were changing Kuva liches so now they couldn't one-shot you. But I remember when they announced that, Steve looked like he wanted to die inside.
Yeah.
Which really makes me wonder, does he genuinely think that a mechanic where an enemy can one-shot you just because you have the wrong sequence, is that actually entertaining? And if so, I think he's playing a different Warframe than the rest of us are. Or at least that's just
I
me.
think one-shotting's fine in a sense. Not when like I have to interact with this unit and then based on an RNG factor, which maybe after 1 hour of game time I know the correct combination of still results in my death. I don't know what he's playing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't mind having something challenging. Like, if I don't hate things that can one shot me per se. I just hate it when something can one shot me for something completely trivial, such as again having the wrong sequence. Because if it were like hypothetically speaking, let's say that they bring back raids and they make it so at the end the raid bosses have like a MMO type formula where they have telegraphed attacks and all that shit that if you don't dodge it one shots you. That I would understand because it was something simple you could have dodged, but you didn't. But if it's something like, oh, you have the wrong Parazon mod sequence, which is something completely randomly generated, yeah, you're getting one shot. That's when it's just ridiculous.
Do you think if raids come back, because I at this point no faith whatsoever they're coming back.
They won't. They won't. Even Xanagoth said he doesn't want them back anymore.
If they bring them back, do you think DE would indicate the telegraphed attack? Or do you think it would be like okay, there's so much to talk about and it's like just all going into each other. Do you think they would like highlight the attack for like what's the word? Accessibility for vision impaired or whatever. So like take Headshot as an example. I watched his content when I came back to the game, which was around Second Dream. And since then I've heard him bring up visibility issues for colorblindness. And every time like a new update or something comes out, I swear he has to repeat himself again and again. And this is for something that's really weird because like you'd think accessibility for impaired people would be like a priority, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of making everything one single color. Like I believe he was rooting for changes to the arbitration drones for like 6 months or maybe longer before they made it like a hue of orange. It's I don't think raids would be good the way Warframe does it. Like
Yeah.
does their content.
Yeah, but going by what you were talking about, telegraphed attacks, yeah, there are ways you can make them without having to completely screw over the visually impaired. Like, for instance, in Final Fantasy XIV, the way a telegraphed attack works is there's an orange indicator on the ground that it basically outlines the shape of the attack. It could be something like a cone, a straight line, an AoE circle, something like that. But whatever shape it is, it's always highlighted in orange. Besides that, the boss also does like a certain pose or movement that indicates, hey, they're charging up an attack. You should watch out. And on top of that, above the actual boss health bar slash name, there's a gauge that says the name of the attack and the progress of their charge up, meaning that even if you can't see orange, you can tell, hey, the boss is charging up. This is the progress of the attack. You should probably get out of the way.
See, that's great.
Yeah.
And but also so Jesus Christ. I think it was one of the past couple of updates, but they've been adding like effects to melee weapons that aren't like hits or like they're weird effects like heat when a gun shoots. I don't know what to call it.
I'm not the mist. Fucking heat fog, whatever the fuck it's called.
Whatever it's called, it pops up when you shoot, or there's more effects when you hit an enemy. Like, there's just more effects in the game than usual, and I think they're going haywire with their new particle system to the point that, like, I don't know what the hell is going on in some cases, which I would love to see something like that in Warframe, but I don't think it would work in regards to, like, the name of the attack and all the other stuff, because there's so much shit going on, not including Warframe casting, and I just don't know. it's...
They could also, in my opinion, they could also make, besides a visual telegraph, just an auditory telegraph, such as, in addition to having a boss do like a wind-up pose, also make like a charge up sound, like the Opticore or something like that, where it starts off low and then increases in pitch as it gets closer to completion.
Well, we have that with what are they called? Demolist or Demolishers in the Infested missions. We have like this red pulse that when we're close to them, or like this auditory indicator. But that's in a mission that is like, that's the objective. Actually, it could work like that. Yeah. Sorry. That's completely dumb on my part. So it could work in Warframe, but it would have to be like, you can't have so many enemies in there that have telegraphed attacks. It has to be like that big boss or whatever. But it could work, yeah.
Yeah, but that also kind of brings up the problem of the UI in Warframe. It isn't bad per se. It's just, I mean, it's most obvious when you play with an Octavia, but when you have a shitload of buffs on your Warframe, it just completely clutters up your screen.
Yeah.
And since
Plus,
everything,
if you don't remember what the buffs are, you got like icon.
Yeah, if you don't memorize the icons, it's like, what the fuck is this? Why do I have it? Like, when I was playing through the changes to the arcanes for the first time, I had no idea what the fuck the arcane icons even were until I actually remembered I had it on. I'm like, oh, it's the arcanes. It's just, they changed the icon for some reason, because before I was just fine with the plain old half circle arcane thing, because it could tell me, oh yeah, an arcane's on, that's cool. But now, since everything has to have a different icon, it's like, what the fuck is this?
There's not even, I don't know if they added it or not, probably not. There's not even an indication that it's on cooldown. There is, but it's not identifiable. Like, you can confuse it if you're not paying attention with like the actual effect of your arcane, like with the duration of it. So if they haven't changed it, it's just the arcane icon and then the countdown. But there's no, like, I think that shit should be red or some crap to indicate that it's on cooldown. So if you need an energy orb or whatever the hell, I don't know, it's just something small that could help.
I thought that
in the abundance that happens.
I thought the cooldowns were red by default. Like on the mod Rolling Guard, when you roll and then the invulnerability goes on cooldown, that's on red. The Jinn Sentinel, if you have the Reawaken mod, if it dies and it goes into like the 90-second cooldown before it respawns, that's on red. When you're in operator mode and you quote unquote die and you get the transference static debuff, that's not really cooldown, but it's still red. But yeah, the arcane cooldown thing, I don't think it's in red, and I don't know why.
Because they forgot about it.
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
They forgot about tutorials. Remember when, like, the one good thing that came out of the Old Blood? Probably there's more, but whatever. The one good thing that everyone praised them for? A tutorial page. What's the next update?
Wait, tutorial
for the Liches, sorry.
Okay, because I honestly don't remember it.
Yeah, like there's a tab when you go into the Lich menu that says tutorial. You click on it, tells you everything that you need to do for the system.
Oh yeah, that
That's
I remember
after,
that.
like, yeah. And then come railjack, and I was on break. Like I took I think maybe 2-month break, 1-month break from covering Warframe because it was Empyrean's release, and I don't know why it was added. Sorry, but I looked at the Warframe Reddit on the launch of Empyrean, and one of the main posts was, "Where's the tutorial?" And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm logging off, and then yeah, Scarlet Spear. Like it's just the little things, like having a in-game accessible option to know what the fuck you're doing rather than going to the wiki or YouTube or whatever. Like Scarlet Spear launched and it's pretty self-explanatory. Like go into the missions, shoot the big thing, shoot the big thing, shoot the big thing. But the fucking bonus system isn't explained in the game at all.
Yeah.
And it's the dumbest system ever. Well, not maybe not dumbest, but it's a very confusing system, or at least it was on launch. But nowhere in game does that tell you. So you could. So I made the choice to not read the patch notes or the guide, just because I wanted to see what they would do with Scarlet Spear, without, you know, guides outside of the dev streams that I watched. So went in blind to Scarlet Spear. Pretty self-explanatory up to the point where I finished the mission. And then I got like 150 Scarlet credits. And I'm like, okay, cool. Check the shop. 20k. No, I'm not doing this. And that's just from like, not reading anything outside of the game. Then I go to the patch notes after that. I read the scoring system where you get the bonus payout. It's like, okay, get what was it, 10,000 points in a Mirax wave, and you'll get 10,000 or so Scarlet credits. And I'm like, okay, why is that not in game? You could have had the tutorial tab pop up with that information. They just keep forgetting about these things that help. That's it. I don't know.
Yeah, keep in mind that they're quote unquote still working on the new player experience, which they haven't really given any more news about that in like what, a year?
Yeah, when was TennoCon? July.
Yeah, last July.
What's it now? April.
So
Yeah.
8 or 9 months ago.
Like not even a dev workshop. I'm pretty sure it's just dead silence in regards to the new player experience. And if all they have is that trailer,
Yeah, the new player experience is a trailer. That's the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard.
well, I think Destiny did some weird thing as well with New Light, which was when they went free, which was freshening up the new player experience and making it easier to understand and whatnot. And apparently that is absolute dog shit to the point where it's literally just a a cutscene from the first game, just revamped. And then it puts you into the Red War, which is the vanilla game. But what they did was make it like Warframe in a sense, where there's no direction on what the fuck to do after a certain point. So I feel like DE could get it right, but they may just go that route where it's just a drop of a trailer and then they keep the system they already had in place. I don't hope that's the case, but Destiny seemed to go backwards in their way, so
yeah,
it's a possibility.
It's just dead silence on a lot of things. Like, when they announced that they were killing off the guys of the Lotus program, and they said, "Oh, we're introducing a replacement program that everyone can join now." They haven't given any more news about it since then. The third orb fight in Fortuna. It's been like 2 years. They still haven't done anything with that. Fucking God. I don't fucking know what else they've done that they've just completely forgotten about. Because those are like
the orb one frustrates the shit out of me because they said that they're fully they're working. They just need some mechanics added to them, and that was around the launch of Fortuna. Then, like, we haven't like they want to build up lore for the orb mothers, and I don't. Fortuna, I think, has the best world building for Warframe in recent years, since Second Dream, maybe, where it gives you a lot about the characters. Like, for me, my favorite character was like Rude Zood and the Five Sisters or whatever. So when the Exploiter came out, I was like really invested in that storyline with the Exploiter that went in there and whatever, killed him. Can't remember at this point. But,
I don't blame you.
Well, there's no reason to remember the story for Warframe outside of you're a fucking Tenno.
Yeah.
Because it takes so long to get to the next stage of the major quest that it doesn't matter anymore because there's no world to care about.
Yeah. I mean, even though the base story, quote unquote, it boils down to like 5 quests, which is like there's obviously like the starting player shit, then it goes into Second Dream. Actually, no, before that, it's Nata, then it's Second Dream, then it's War Within, then it's Sacrifice, and then it's fucking whatever the fuck,
New War.
which hasn't even come out yet. So
The
technically,
New War, it's a war.
yeah, it's a war that's never gonna fucking happen. If it does, it's probably gonna be disappointing, honestly. Because I was under the impression the way they marketed it was the new war was gonna be a quest, but no. Then Steve's like, no, the new war is gonna be an event. It's gonna be dragged out over months and shit. I'm like, oh god, no.
See, I was excited for the new war. I was like, oh yes, cool story content. Get a new tile set. Haven't had one in 4 years. Very excited for the new war. Then it's tied to railjack.
Oh no.
You got to go into the. That's the first problem. You got to go into the time-gated anomaly and break a red crystal to get the cutscene. Another problem because it's at the end of railjack. Then they just decided to drop that whole idea and make it accessible in the codex, and that's the new war. It's essentially what it is. Like, if you don't touch railjack, how the hell did we get from Chimera Prologue to Sentient Invasion without any like build up?
Space magic, that's how.
Earlier I said I fucking complained about the Pyrus project, right? That operation from 2018 where we rebuilt the relay. Imagine, because at this point, the only reason for that was to get it off the chest of everyone asking about the broken relays, and to get that new relay design with the fires and stuff into the game, which looks cool. What if we had some indication that the Sentients were coming, which was, I think, Chimera Prologue. Then we build the Scarlet Spear. Community operation. Everyone puts in resources, and then you kind of have this, I don't know, connection to what's happening more than just, oh no, Lotus is gone.
Does anyone even actually care about the Lotus? Like, Actually?
There are, because emotional connections.
What emotional connection is there to have? It's been
I want
the,
to.
the game's dragged on for like 7 years of like bare bones main story quest. It basically boils down to wake up, you're a Warframe. Oh wait, starting off the fucking Nata quest, Lotus is getting all jittery. She doesn't want to talk to you. Whatever. Plot twist, turns out the Lotus used to be a sentient. Oh no, she's actually evil, but she's good now. Whatever the fuck, who cares? Then it goes on to the second dream, where it's go to the moon because reasons, and then Lotus just drops off the face of the fucking earth because she's embarrassed to tell you you're a kid for some fucking reason. You realize you're a kid. You're like, why did you not tell me? And she's like, yes. Anyway,
Here's
move
3
on.
dialogue options that do not matter.
Yeah, move on to fucking War Within, where again she just basically drops off the face of the fucking earth and leaves you alone to go on like a quote unquote journey to the mountains with Ordis and shit. Which honestly, that whole sequence with Teshin, I love that. I want Teshin to be a more prominent character.
How can
Honestly,
you not love that?
yeah, I fucking want more of that shit. I hate Lotus. I don't even know why we have her. Then you have the option of like either you kill the fucking Worm Queen or he just fucking like ninjas his way up there and just slashes the shit out of her. That was fucking dope. Then after that, it goes into Sacrifice where Lotus comes back. I don't even fucking remember what happened other than Umbra is angsty and you eventually get him and shit. But yeah, Lotus has never really done anything to get your emotional investment, in my opinion, because all she's done
No,
so
she's
far.
been our operator for the 3 years prior to the second dream.
So
That's it.
literally, her character boils down to just telling you what to do and where to go. And literally, any time some exposition needs to be given, she either just leaves or she's vague as fuck.
Ah, yes, the oh wait, no, that was Unicode. Doesn't matter. Yeah, no, like the only connection to the Lotus that I can think of is 3 years of from the start of the game to second dream or Natar or whatever build up was there. I don't know, can't remember. But the fact that she's your voice in the head, she pops up and says stuff like life support drop, use it.
Oh, so
Like that's
much
it.
fucking character. Holy shit.
And then it gets retcons. I think I liked Quiet Shire's video about the Lotus because I don't like it's just all retcons or it's shit that doesn't matter added with each new quest. I think Jovian Concord, as good as it was, like as visually cool as it was, and whatnot. I think at the time it was brought up like, what the hell is Alad V and his story?
Yeah.
Because
The whole
like
the Mutalist Alad V thing.
like I don't want to think about it because it's so bloody confusing.
Yeah.
And it's like researching, going back to your new video, it's like researching like a giant topic, but it's for a single character in the game.
Yeah.
So like you would spend all this time trying to find out what this character is and what's his story now that there's a new Eidolon sentient thing. Like
Yeah, it's like, how the fuck does Alad V work since Mutalist Alad V came out first, and he's still a thing technically? So how the fuck does that work from regular Alad V? Is that just like a fucking quote unquote alternate timeline, whatever the fuck, even though it's in the same fucking game? Because it really doesn't make any sense. Which fucking going back to the Lotus a bit, I I honestly think that those who actually like the Lotus as a character, they're 100% overrated because the Lotus herself isn't even a good character, not in terms of traits, but just in personality. Because since the Lotus modeled herself after Margulis, who the fucking Orkin, whatever the fuck, it
Margulis.
yeah, I I really don't know how everyone forgot from, as we were told in the Chains of Harrow, Margulis fucking threw out Rel just because he was autistic. So
Yeah.
she wasn't all loving like everyone fucking thinks. So I really don't know why everyone just forgot about that. Because Rel just got fucking shit on. I loved his quest, but the Lotus just fucking shit on him.
Bro, just chuck it up to Arcane society.
We live in a society.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck.
Holy fuck. I'm trying to continue. I just can't think. I think Ballas, like, okay, Ballas, right? Build up through other quests. Mention pops up sometimes or whatever. Then you get to what was it? Chimera? Was it Chimera prologue? No.
Where he shows up for the first time?
Apostasy prologue. Oh shit! Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Fuck.
If you're talking about where he shows up for the first time physically, I would say technically the sacrifice, but that was in a flashback. But like physically, I think it was Apostasy Prologue.
Yeah, like he pops up, takes Lotus or some shit. She takes off her helmet. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Our operator feels something because they have more connection to the characters than us, even though there's nothing really.
Yeah. Also, that one scene in the Apostasy Prologue where the Lotus loses her helmet and shit, where the camera pans down so you can only see like her mouth. There was actually a bug, and I think it's still in the game where you could actually move the mouse and move the camera up to see her face. So that just completely killed like any fucking cinematic feel there was there. Because I didn't even know about it until I think Quiet Shy made a video about it. Like, oh hey, during the scene you can see the Lotus's face. Oh whoops. Then I'm like, wait, really? And so I played through the quest. I'm like, oh my god, it's actually here.
The Lotus is like Master Chief. I don't want to see his face because I already know what his face is. Master Chief's face, by the way, is a helmet under a helmet.
Yeah.
And once he takes those helmets off, it's another helmet. That's canon and should always be canon.
Yeah.
But for the Lotus, my idea of the face is it was 2016 maybe where I first saw it. Someone drew the head, like what the Lotus's head would be under the helmet based on where the eye lights are.
Oh, I saw that.
And
it was disgusting.
It's awesome. It's just like this Sid from Ice Age looking thing.
No, it was so disgusting. It freaked me out a little bit.
Wait, was yours like just like line art? Or was it an actual drawing?
I think it was a drawing. I don't remember. I know it wasn't line art.
Okay, mine was line art. So if yours was something else, it's probably disgusting.
Yeah, yeah, it was disgusting.
But yeah, like Ballas sounds cool. He looks cool, but he shows up in Apostasy Prologue. Then he's like killed in the next quest,
quote unquote. More like just fucking turned into half whatever the fuck race Orkin is, half sentient.
And yeah, then he turned into an amalgam.
Yeah.
Teasing, I guess, sentient invasion on Corpus Gas City.
Speaking of that, I'm expecting the upcoming Deadlock Protocol event to take place in the Gas City to like make them be relevant or whatever the fuck. But the Condrix set mods that got leaked that Tactical Potato made a video about, I swear to God, if that's something you have to grind for, I swear this game is gonna fucking die.
It won't matter though. Like, my idea for modding in Warframe is we already have the mods that we need, and unless you're gonna power creep the shit into it, why the fuck would we use anything else outside of like for a goof? Like we already
Because-
have plus 110% damage on our weapons. Whatever on our health.
Because
Maybe that's just me, but yeah.
supposedly the difference between or at least what's supposedly going to make the Condric set mods unique is that kind of like how the amalgam mods, they're like a side grade. Like the original barrel diffusion is like 120 multi-shot, but amalgam barrel diffusion is like fucking 110 multi-shot, but you also get like 60% dodge speed or some shit like that. Well, supposedly the Condric set mods, it's going to be like that, but for corrupted mods, like Creeping Bullseye and Blind Rage and Narrow Minded. And it opens up a question of how is this going to work? Because if they're technically side grades, but actually better, like fucking Amalgam fucking Serration, which instead of like 160 for fucking, I don't know how much damage the original fucking Serration is. I want to say it's like 160, 170% bonus damage, but Amalgam Serration, it's like 155 bonus damage, but also 25% sprint speed. And mobility is fucking important in Warframe because that's how you move around. So the question is, if the Condric set mods are the same way, where they're technically side grades, but they're actually kind of better, that's going to power creep the ever-loving fuck out of the game, and God knows that that's already a problem to begin with. And if they're a grind to get, that's just going to be even worse, because you're forcing people to grind for something that's actually good. And after Scarlet Spear, I don't think people are going to be too thrilled about that.
Yeah. If you have to grind for them, yeah. I remember amalgam. No, not amalgam mods. What's the sentient ones with sacrifice? They just called Umbra and
yeah,
whatever mods.
They're called sacrificial.
They're cool.
I mean,
like
they're nice if you can get like 2 or 3 of them together, especially on Chroma, because if you like equip more than one, it like buffs the rest of them. So like you can get like a crazy amount of like health and strength and armor, especially on frames like Chroma and fucking Inaros and Nidus. But otherwise, you have to like burn a lot of capacity just to get those 3 on, which makes Umbra Forma basically a requirement. Which,
yep.
I mean, for niche builds, sure, but overall, I don't see why.
It's just to get that extra little bit of power. But like, if you were to mod for them, you'd need the Umbra Forma. And now, like at this point, you can only get Umbra Forma from Nightwave.
Yeah.
So
remember how everyone when
fuck?
when the fucking Sentient Talus set came out in railjack and DE said, yeah, rare crates have a small chance of dropping Umbra Forma. Everyone was fucking farming that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took that
and
away.
And then they took it out in the recent hotfix.
Yeah.
Because of, what was it, security issues.
What security issues?
Do you want to elaborate? You want to
yeah.
say, like, anything else?
Yeah, I don't fucking know how you have security issues with farming. That just seems weird. I mean, I don't know anything about programming and shit, but that just seems weird.
Yeah. Like, but that's the reason. Oh god.
Yeah, I honestly would not be surprised if like a year or 2 from now, the standard build, like at least compared to how it was back in the day, where mods there were literally only 3 types, just common, rare, and uncommon. So it was like gold, silver, and bronze. Fucking a year or 2 from now, we're gonna have like fucking 20 different kinds of mods, like amalgam silver, fucking sacrificials like white, Condrix mods are probably gonna be like some different shade of gold. Riven mods are fucking purple. It's retarded. Rainbow builds are gonna be a thing, and it's gonna be ridiculous.
Well, how are they gonna go? Like, if they add these new, what are they called, corrupted mods?
Yeah, the Condrix mods.
Condrix mods. So in when was the last like new mod? Sacrifice 2018. So in 2 years or a year and a half, we're gonna get, I don't know, another mod set, and then another mod set 2.5 years later. It's just gonna be like that, and each one will have more stats than the previous one, even if it's just like a percentage, like a 1% difference,
A
and
lot of
everyone will farm for it. I feel.
a lot of people will disagree with me here, I think, but I'm of the impression that DE should increase the mod capacity of everything from 8 to 10. Because if I remember right, back in closed beta, where I didn't play during closed beta, if I remember right, everything had like a 10 mod capacity, which came after when shit in Warframe was literally just fucking skill trees. They just had a 10 mod capacity, which if we had that today, that would be so fucking useful, but at the same time it would also break the game because it would let you stick on additional mods. Like adaptation wouldn't really be a problem in your build anymore. You could probably take on a fucking any XLS mod you want and not even feel bad about it. You could take fucking preparation if you wanted to, even though it's kind of a trash mod anyway. But
Is
yeah,
that the one that gives you 100 full energy
at the
at the
start,
start
yeah,
of a mission?
yeah.
Yeah.
But just having 2 extra mod slots, especially now with like all these fucking choices, I think that would really help a lot and fucking loosen up the quote unquote build rules that we have, because you have 8 slots to work with, not including Exilis or Aura, and there are mods that you have to take. Like if you're playing Valkyr, you're gonna need fucking sacrificial vitality, sacrificial fiber, and if you really want to go all the way for the full set, sacrificial steel, or whatever the fuck is the one that increases your power strength. So that's 3 slots right there. Then you have to throw on more fucking resistances or power or armor, like fucking vigor or fucking fuck, I can't think of any. But yeah,
Redirection.
redirection. Even though Valkyrie has low shields, yeah, but the thing is, the quote unquote required mods, they just eat up space, and that just really eats up your available capacity. So it's like, why do we only have 8 slots to work with? Especially when they keep adding more and more mods. We're gonna need more capacity eventually. Because when the time
And
comes,
each new mod has a higher capacity, higher drain, I think is the right terminology.
yeah, but at that point you would have to forma even more just to keep up, and that's a level of grind that I don't think people want.
With the War Within's, fuck, Jesus Christ, I'm stuck on that, aren't I? Old Blood, if that's anything to go by, no one wants to waste forma
Yeah,
more than they have to.
I honestly don't remember how I got through leveling all the Kuva weapons. Because when I first heard, oh hey, new weapons, that's cool, I can raise my master rank again, then it's like, oh yeah, they're like the paracesis, where you have to forma it to get fucking rank, and I'm like, oh god, no, there's like 7 of them.
Do they give you extra like damage against sentience or damage against anything, like any bonus with each new forma, or
Unless I'm remembering incorrectly, they don't give you any bonus besides just more mod capacity.
great idea, DA?
I mean, on something that's going to be popular like the Kuva Brahma, sure, whatever, more capacity is good. But on something else like the fucking Kuva Ogress, I don't think anyone's really going to give a shit.
Yeah, but I think that should be a freaking choice, right? Because mastery is tied to those extra levels, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So, fuck.
Yeah, but
I've only got the Brahma, Stubber, and I think the Karak, maybe. I don't know. I could not be bothered touching that shit.
wow, you're
ever
far
again.
behind. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I straight up was deciding and talking to my friends saying, I do not want to cover this update. I do not want to read these patch notes when Old Blood came out. Like I was about 4 days or something behind actually uploading shit about it that wasn't archives or whatever.
Yeah, I really don't blame you.
That broke me.
I really don't fucking blame you.
I put out a post saying this update has single-handedly killed my will to play this game, and I was a bit harsh, and I brought that back in another post saying, maybe it was just whatever, but fuck, was that not the close to the final straw?
Yeah, it's not the first time I've heard of a content creator just being completely fucking done with the game, because a while back when I did the podcast session with Tube After Dark, she told me that there's like a shitload of stuff she hasn't done. Like, I think she said she doesn't even have railjack built. She doesn't really have like any Kuva killed, shit like that. It's like, where have you been? And she's like, I mean, I've been playing Warframe. It's just this shit's not really interesting.
Yeah, like it took me like a year or 6 months or something to actually play the Ropalolyst fight.
Really?
And that's just running a boss mission. Like I wanted to play it. I just did not have the will to actually load it up and play.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard of the Ropalolyst, I immediately ignored it because I assumed it would be another boss fight that requires fucking teamwork and like knowledge to actually do. And at the time, I absolutely hated Eidolons, so I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then one day I'm scrolling through my profile, I'm like, okay, is there anything I haven't done? Then I look at star chart progress, and it tells me I have one node I haven't done. I'm like, wait, what? There's something I haven't done? Let me see. And it was the Ropalolyst. I'm like, fuck. So I I hopped into that solo because I'm like, fuck it. I want to see how this goes. And I beat that after like 20 minutes of playing it, and I'm like, I thought this was going to be hard. Why did I skip this?
How long did it take you to figure out what the hell to do?
14, 15 minutes. After that, it was literally just jump around, fucking maneuver to the fucking chalky things, and that was it.
See, I find it fun, at least for the first couple of runs, and then I decided to make a video on farming Wisp, and I started to despise it. But it is an interesting fight. But yeah, I got to that like a year late. The Lotus popping up on your screen is probably the worst thing about it, though. At least like solo running. Apparently, if you do it multiplayer, like pubs and shit, the Ropalolyst bugs out like completely, which is par for the course, really.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many reasons why I stopped playing public and have never played multiplayer again. Yeah, I'm literally just a solo player.
Yeah, I know that. I know that feel. I literally, for the vast majority of my time playing Warframe, I've done everything solo, and the few times I remember not doing things solo was Eidolons when I was learning how to do them. The boss fights in Fortuna, so like the orbs and shit, and fucking railjack when I was
Raids.
when I mean I did raids, but I barely did any. So honestly,
Oh.
I personally don't include those. And when I was putting my railjack together for the first time, I was literally just I was just freeloading off my clanmates who they already fucking did everything. So I was just freeloading, getting free like tier 3 parts and shit. 5 hours of doing that later, I already had like a basically maxed out railjack just ready to go.
Yeah. Well, the good thing, like I don't have a clan. I don't have like my clan is dead. I'm a ghost clan, and I'm the only one who still logs on outside of I think 3 people that I found like that I played with over the past couple of years. And the rest are just real life friends who quit. And I think the last time they logged on was before Walled In, with one of them logging in around Second Dream. So he's like out. He's last logged on at like 2,600 days or some shit.
Did they
But
really
like, yeah.
all just fucking quit?
Well, so I got into the game. by one of my mates, and that was, I think, a month after the game launched, like went open. He got me into the game, and at the time, I'm like, this game is fucking boring and repetitive as shit, because it was the one tile set, I believe.
Yeah.
Then I came back with Second Dream, and we all came back. We played it, we loved it, it was awesome, and I'll cherish that memory of all of us getting to the point where like it's revealed and shit, and the stalker fight. But one of my other mates just stopped after. Another kept up with me, like we did the void runs an hour long T4 survival keys and stuff.
Yeah, those are the
And
days.
then those were awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then he stopped after a while. I've tried to get him back every now and again, but he just doesn't want to. And the guy that's 2,500 days last logged in, just he doesn't like staying, like he doesn't like games where they constantly change to the point where you need to be on top of everything that changes or when you log in. So he's not really into that, like the game.
So he just hates games that rely on fear of missing out.
I guess so.
Yeah, I can understand that, honestly.
Yeah, like he'll play for the story, and then after that he'll stop. Like not very much into grinding.
Yeah, Warframe's non-existent
yeah.
story. Nice.
Oh, it's a master stroke. It's not a throwing shade at all.
Yeah, fucking. I fucking. When I started doing my, or just off topic here, when I started doing my fucking, God, I forgot what it's called. Oh, the Warframe Development Report series. When I started doing that, I literally just made it because DE wasn't really doing anything at all with like Warframe lore. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just make something up, give it like the SCP universe format because I'm a huge fan of that, and I'll make my own shit. And when I started doing it, people are like, "This is amazing. DE should do shit like this. Please make more." I'm like, cool, whatever. So I kept making a few more. Then DE comes out of nowhere with the Laverian, and I'm like, oh, I mean, I'm fine with that, but now making these just feels kind of pointless because now they're making official Warframe lore, and then they just kind of dropped the ball on that because it's been, I want to say, almost a year since they've started Laverian, and they only have like what 4 or 5 done.
Laverian came out with Jovian Concord, I think. Was that right, Gauss?
No, Gauss was the first one to have it. That was Saint of Ultra.
Oh shit, yeah.
So if I remember right, the only Warframes that currently have a Laverian, it's Gauss, Grendel, Avara, Nova, and Atlas. So 5 out of like.
Oh, and you say Nova?
Yeah, Nova just got one.
Yeah.
So it's like what, 5 Warframes out of like what, 30, 40?
Yeah, I think there's an Ember one coming as well because they showed the Ember Laverian card.
Yeah, I remember they showed it off along with Vauban's card. But honestly, I'm hoping that they don't release those until they give further changes to them because a decent amount of people who play Ember tell me that, I mean, she's fun, but she's not necessarily better. And Vauban fucking, I swear, if they try to throw in Vector Pad to his Laverian, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Because there's no
that's the one thing that's gonna come that's gonna explain it.
There's no fucking way they can have a canonical use of that shit ass ability that isn't a joke. There is no way.
I feel like they could work it out. If they really wanted to, I think they could find a reason to make that fucking ability work.
That is a hill I will die on. Vector Pad is the worst fucking ability in the game. It should have died along with Bounce. I don't know why it's in the game.
Well, when Ember and Vauban were reworked, I haven't touched Ember, I don't think, but I played with Vauban, and I went into the simulacrum just just testing the power strength of the boost pad, and all I did was what was it? Overextended, chuck that on, see how far they go, and then put full power strength, and then just did the standard one. Made a little clip of just the distance that they went, and just put it out on Twitter. And it really shouldn't be a thing. Like, there's so many other things you could do with Vauban
Yeah.
that could replace that.
I guess they were
But
just
then again, I don't play him a lot.
my assumption is they were just really desperate to keep the fucking fun part of bounce, whatever the fuck. But they could have gone about it so many other ways. It's like, this is the best they could do. I'm not even a fucking game designer, but I could have done better than this.
Mm.
But going back to what you were saying a bit ago, the simulacrum, I was recently made aware of a podcast that D. Scott was a guest in, that Frozen Balls runs. Fucking the one thing I exclusive.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, where D.
Sorry.
Scott he said that the number one thing he like hates about the game is how like the content creators just fucking, they quote unquote, or at least they quote unquote whenever new shit comes out, they just go into the simulacrum, they record themselves playing with the new shit, just playing around with the numbers and with the simulacrum, and they don't show off the true side of Warframe, quote unquote, even though that is Warframe. Just fucking, how high can I turn up the numbers, and can I do Saren damage?
What do you expect? Like, how many times have you seen they DE show off something, and then the community responds with all this shit, like feedback, not shit, but feedback, breaking down why it wouldn't work and whatnot. Then, like, this is just from numbers or prior experience. And then they tell us to play the game and experience it for us, for ourselves. Cough, cough, it's all nerf. But then it comes out, we play it, and the same feedback applies.
Yeah.
And that's that. 2 years later, it gets done, I guess. Like, changes come.
Yeah.
But the simulacrum, it's literally in the name or whatever. It's a simulation room. I have an archive series, and I'm pretty sure 90% of the stuff I've archived so far is in the simulacrum. Because if I was to do it in a mission, there's a great point by Ashisogi Tenno. Got the name right. Fuck yeah.
Oh, are you talking about?
Sorry.
Are you talking about the response video that he made of like?
Yeah.
That's literally what the room is designed to do. Just test shit.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes of
Yeah.
like, holy shit. Like, that's what we're there for. We're testing it. And if I was able to go to level 100 enemies or even higher, whatever the mastery rank cap is at the moment, for the simulacrum enemies. But if I could do that in the game without having to spend so much time to get there, I would do that. And I like, for my archive stuff, it's like, oh, level 180 enemies. Here's it, like the gun shooting or the Warframe ability on it. Because I'm not going to go hours into, or an hour or whatever, into a survival just to get to that point and then record, when I could do it in the simulacrum. Like,
Exactly. It's fucking weird.
like, fuck, man.
And on a similar note, I never understood why spawning enemies, or at least their level, why is that based on mastery rank? Because I want to say, like, the highest level that an enemy can be set to right now, since founders can reach mastery rank 29, I think that the highest level is like 175. But Relentless Zen put out a video a while back where he was playing, I think, Avara, and he was in survival for like well over 4 hours, and he started fighting against literally level 10,000 enemies. So
Yeah,
why the fuck? I mean, I get it. The realistic end game of Warframe, it's not fighting against enemies that are over level 300. But if an enemy can scale up that high, why would you only restrict a player to only a level 170?
because mastery needs a purpose.
I thought the purpose was flexing.
I don't get how that's a flex.
Yeah, neither do I. Fucking. At least just
Like
the.
everything that's progression based is tied to mastery. Or effective progression, I guess. Like syndicate daily bonuses, standing caps, all that shit's tied to mastery.
Yeah, trading caps and all that shit. But honestly, in my opinion, mastery rank, besides being tied to those things, it's honestly just a flex factor. Kind of like in Rainbow Six Siege, where once you go past like level 50, there's literally nothing to unlock anymore, but you still keep leveling up, meaning that players are running around who are like level 213, and there's literally nothing else to unlock because everything was done at like level 50.
Yeah. You know, it's definitely flex though. Like I can get why, because they've added, I think recently they were going to add like new mastery rank icons that look like crap.
God no, I hate that. I really hope they don't do that.
Yeah, like, and if they do that, I think it could be like the Stratus emblem, where like it just constantly updates and becomes like some, I don't know, graphic. But League of Legends does that as well. With
that I've seen.
The flexing, but they constantly update their ranks. Like it'll be like blue with this cool border, then it'll be green with a border or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, if it's a simulacrum, I think it'd be nice if you could change it to those higher levels, but I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Yeah. And I think that's a good place to stop this off. So, do you have any closing remarks apart from DE bad?
DE, please make good law and do shit and fucking get your test cluster shit going. Because holy shit, I don't think we could do another year of this.
Yeah, I guarantee you if it happens, this game's gonna go fucking down the shitter, just like Firefall did.
It's just another year. Another sad year.
Yeah. Feels bad, man.